Welcome, everyone. This is the MasterClass. My name is Patricknazareth. I have around 30 years of experience in teaching, and I'm here to help dispel your doubts, should you have any. Today, we look at the lesson Reach for the Top. This is the story of two different women. One, an Indian woman named Santosh Yadav, and the other, a Russian woman called Maria Sharapova. Let's start with the first part then, Santosh Yadav. Santosh Yadav is the only woman in the world climbed Mount Everest twice, and that too from a place like India, where the birth of a daughter is not considered a good thing. When her mother was pregnant, a holy man came visiting. He started giving her a blessing, expecting them to want a son. But the grandmother said, "No, we want a girl." He blessed her and went his way. Sure enough, Santosh was born. The sixth child, 5 of them before her, all boys, her brothers. Santosh was not content to be traditional. Other girls preferred Indian dresses. Not her. She wore shorts. And she was sure in her own mind that I would choose a path of mine. I would not do what other people want me to do. Who were her parents? Rich people, owned a lot of land. They could afford to send their child to a good school, but they did not. They sent her to the village school because she was a girl after all. She kept quiet, she studied hard, and she waited for a moment to show her independence. When she turned 16, she realized the time had come. At 16, the girls in her village would get married, and Santosh was also told by her parents to do the same. But she refused. She said, "I will only marry if I have a proper education," so she left the house and went to a school in Delhi. Her parents refused to give her tuition. She said, "Don't. I will work and I will pay the tuition fees myself." Her parents then agreed, "You don't work. We will give you the money. You study." Always telling her parents little bit more. She passed her high school examinations. She went to Jaipur. She joined Maharani College and she got a room over there in the hostel. This hostel room faced the Aravalli Hills, and she used to watch people going up into it. She used to watch villagers climbing. So she decided to go there by herself, and she found a few mountaineers. She asked if she could join them, and they agreed. She realized that this is what she wanted to do with her life. She wanted to climb. She went and enrolled at Uttarkashi's Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. Her college semester was supposed to end in April, but instead it ended in May. She did not go back to her village. She did not go back to her parents. She went straight to Uttarkashi and went to training. She wrote and apologized to her father later on. Every year after that, she went on a climbing trip, a climbing expedition. She became a better and better climber. She got acclimatized. She developed a resistance to cold and the altitude. Being a strong-minded girl, physically as well as mentally. Again and again, she proved that she had what it takes to climb mountains. 4 years after she had asked these mountaineers that she could see from her hostel whether she could climb, Santosh Yadav climbed Mount Everest. She became the youngest woman to do so. Not just her determination, her mental strength, but the seniors liked her because she looked after other people as well. She always wanted to cooperate with everyone. During the 1992 mission, she tried to look after a climber who was dying at the South Col, which is the route that you take while going up to Mount Everest. Unfortunately, she could not save him. However, she did manage to save another climber called Mohan Singh because she shared her oxygen with him. Within 12 months, Santosh was invited to be a member of the Indo-Nepalese Women's Expedition. She joined them and she went up to Everest a second time, becoming the only woman to have gone and stood at the top of Everest not once but twice. The Indian government gave her the Padma Shri, recognizing what she had done. She described how she felt when she was standing on the top of the Everest. She said, "It took some time for me to understand what I had done." When she opened the Indian flag on the mountaintop, she couldn't describe it. It was almost spiritual. She felt proud to be an Indian. Santosh also collected and brought down 500 kilograms of garbage from the Himalayas, thus establishing herself as an environmentalist as well. Who are the characters then? Santosh Yadav, a determined and strong-willed person. He's an independent thinker who challenges traditions, who is willing to fight for what she wants, caring and patriotic. Her parents, rich landowners, traditional and conservative people, but ultimately supportive of her. Her grandmother, aggressive, looking forward to having a girl instead of another boy. The 5 brothers, the villagers climbing the Aravalli hills, the mountaineers she meets there, the people with whom she goes up to Everest, the Indo-Nepal expedition, who are mentioned in passing. There is Mohan Singh, the mountaineer whom she saves, and the other one who dies in spite of her efforts. The settings: Joniavas village, Rewari district in Haryana. The local village school: Delhi, where she goes for higher education; Jaipur, where she studies at Maharani College and stays at Kasturba Hostel; the Aravalli Hills, where she learns mountaineering for the first time; the Uttarkashi Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, where she takes it up as a profession; finally, Mount Everest in the Himalayas. What are the literary devices in use here? Irony. Her very name Santosh means contentment, or somebody who is contented, but she was never content with traditional ways of life. Symbolism. The Indian tricolor flag flying on Everest symbolizes national pride and achievement. Metaphor: on top of the world, literally standing on Mount Everest, and figuratively having achieved her dream. Iron will, comparing determination to the strength of iron. Contrast: traditional society versus modern independent thinking. Sons preferred to daughters. Traditional dresses versus shorts. Imagery: I unfurled the Indian tricolor and held it aloft on the roof of the world. A beautiful, vivid visual picture. Direct quotations: Santosh herself speaking of what she has achieved makes the story authentic and powerful. We now move on to the second story about Maria Sharapova. On Monday, the 22nd of August 2005, she achieved a career ranking of world number 1 in women's tennis. It was as if all this had taken place in next to no time, just 4 years. But there was a great deal of struggle behind this triumph. 9 years ago, when Maria was not even 10, she went to Florida to train in the United States of America with her father Yuri. She could not even take her mother with her because the mother's visa was not processed. This led to her being away from her mother for 2 years. The 9-year-old girl understood a very important thing. For her, she wanted to excel in tennis. For all of us, if you want to excel at anything, it will only come at a price. Maria tells us how she used to be lonely. Her father had to work to support her, so she couldn't see him either. She was a young child. She used to go to bed at 8. The senior children used to come back, wake her up at 11, make her clean the room. Instead of being disheartened by what she was going through, she grew stronger. It just made her more determined to do her best to get to the top. She won the Wimbledon crown for the first time in 2004 and of course reached number 1 in 2005. She remained very tough. The hunger, the determination, the insults that she faced made sure of that. This journey of hers, when it was known, people who watched her play tennis, it touched the fans. She does not attempt to hide her ambition or the sacrifices that she made to achieve it. She says she is a very competitive person. She has worked hard for this. This is my job. She speaks with a pronounced American accent. She was only 9 when she came to the States after all. But she says very clearly, I am a Russian. Should my country ask me to play for them during the Olympics, I am always available. I will always remain a Russian citizen. Like a teenager, what does she like? A normal teenager like you? Fashion, dancing, singing. She likes to read the novels of Arthur Conan Doyle. She likes to wear evening gowns. And she loves pancakes, chocolates, and fizzy orange drinks. You cannot put Maria Sharapova into any category. She had talent, but it was her desire, the burning need inside her to succeed, and her willingness to sacrifice everything that brought her to the top of her profession. She is now rich. She has earned a lot of money, but that is what she has gained from a life of pain, a life of sacrifice. And she says, money is a motivation. Tennis is a business, it is a sport. But the most important thing is to become the number 1 person in the world, and that is the dream that has kept her going. The characters in the story: Maria Sharapova, competitive, hardworking, mentally tough, and very resilient. She is lonely but a determined person, ambitious, focused on her goal, wanting to achieve number 1 status, proud of her Russian heritage. She loves fashion. She loves reading, singing, and dancing. Her father Yuri, supportive, works hard for her training. Her mother Yelena, who sends her to train but unfortunately has to stay back in Siberia because of a problem with her visa. The settings in the story then? Siberia, Russia, where Maria was born. Florida, USA, where she is trained. Wimbledon, England, where she won her first title. What are the literary devices used here? An oxymoron or a paradox. Something disarming, for example. Ready smile and glamorous attire. Elements which are contradictory, almost in opposition to each other, but allowing us to understand how complex her personality is. What a strong person she is. Contrast. Sophisticated evening gowns versus pancakes and fizzy drinks. American accent and Russian nationality. Loneliness at age 9 versus world number 1 as a teenager. Metaphor. Packed off like a package. Launched her on the path, comparing her to a rocket launch. A meteoric rise. Quick success like a meteor burning through the skies. Frozen plains of Siberia. Emphasizing how cold, unforgiving and harsh were her beginnings. Imagery, heart-wrenching 2-year separation, and the frozen plains of Siberia. It creates both emotional and visual impact. Symbolism, Russian blood and citizenship, symbolizing her identity and roots despite living in America most of her adult life. Direct quotations, personal quotes by Maria Sharapova. I used to be so lonely. My blood is totally Russian. What are the common themes to both these stories? What is the thread that binds these two women together? Firstly, determination and willpower. Both of them show the will to achieve their goals, no matter the cost. They both break barriers, challenging social expectations and gender stereotypes. Sacrifice. Both of them had to make personal sacrifices for success. Mental toughness. How it is developed through hardship and challenges that both faced in life. Independence. Ultimately, both live life on their own terms. Loneliness and struggle. Both of them faced isolation throughout the journey. Nobody really understood what they were going through. Dreams and ambition. Both had a clear vision of what they wanted. Hard work. Success came not as a given, but because of the dedication, the effort that both these women put in. Pride and identity. One is an Indian, the other is a Russian, and both take pride in that. Women's empowerment. Both prove that women, even though they are considered a weaker sex, even though boys might be preferred, they showed that women can excel in any field if they have the determination to do so. The themes that we see specifically for Santosh Yadav, how she fights patriarchal traditions where everything is given to the boy, nothing to the girl. Environmental consciousness, which we in India need to develop even today. Not littering the street, not throwing our garbage everywhere, keeping things in garbage bags. Teamwork and compassion, working together with other people. A team is stronger if everyone works together. Compassion towards others. Education as empowerment. The more we study, the more independent we will be. Maria Sharapova, the price that she had to pay for her success. Staying away for her mother for 2 years. Leaving her homeland, moving to a strange place. Resilience in the face of bullying. Even though she was forced to get up at 11 o'clock and work, she still kept her strength, used it to achieve her goals. Competitive spirit. She did not wish to be number 2. She was very clear she had to be number 1 and she had to work hard to achieve it. Money as the motivation. Money was not her goal. She achieved money because of what she did in life, but she did not go and train specifically for money. That's the lesson there for you then. I do hope I have been of help. If I have, please do like, subscribe and share. Remember, there might be others who would be requiring our help. Thank you so much for watching.